Da, 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 da.
Are we recording now?
To you guys. I'll see you on YouTube.
Oh shit! I'm glad I caught it early.
So are we recording now?
Yeah. So go ahead and tell the world what
All
a
right.
dipshit I am.
So Vincent, who are you?
Back now.
Vincent, who are you? What the hell do you want?
Hi. My name in Hindi means limitless. My band is French from Hong Kong.
So now because listeners, I'm an idiot, and I did not hit record. So I'm going to ask this poor man 2 questions again, and he's burning up in his house, and I suck, and I'm sorry. So tell us again how you got it started playing music.
It was a long time ago, in a country called France. I was living in the suburbs of Paris at the time, where people only smoked weed and played reggae music.
Oh, I hate my life right now.
And I decided I need to play death metal. I searched for the biggest vein in the human body and found it was called coronary. And so I named my band after this vein.
You want me to go over it again?
Yeah, no, seriously. I feel like such a
that's
jackass.
perfect. I loved it. You
Nice.
have to throw in the part where you had to put on a Cradle of Filth shirt and then taught them how to make
Oh
the.
shit.
Yes, I found homeless people in wandering around my hometown and dressed them up as goth black metal players. Oh no, I started in the late 90s when I was around 14, 15 years old with a death metal band called Coronary, which, as we agreed before, is a wonderful name for a band.
The best.
It would make for
Especially
great
for teenagers.
artworks and t-shirts.
Mm.
And yeah, it was just a trio. I was doing drum and screaming, kind of doing drum. And I have some demos from that was pretty horrible, but that was my attempt at writing metal music. I think I had a very weird discovery for metal because my household, my dad used to be a folk Celtic music player when he was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
So at home, he would be like Scottish music or Celtic music or the Pink Floyd all the time. And everything else was hip hop and reggae music. So my discovery with metal was a Best of Voivod, the Canadian band.
Mm-hmm.
A Polish friend bring me a vinyl from Poland, which was the American band Mortician.
Okay, yeah.
And I didn't know if I should play the vinyl in 45 or 33 turn because I didn't understand how low the voice was supposed to be. So it sounded nice in 45, but it was really quick.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounded insane in 33. And then the first tape I bought for myself was the Art of Rebellion, Suicidal Tendencies.
Yes.
So that was kind of my trio of metal music when I was in secondary school. I'm like, let's put these together and make a trio of horrible musical coronary. So that was the first thing. Didn't last very long. And after that, I think I get a little bit better at playing guitar. And I started another wonderfully named band called Lethal Lash. So when I was probably 16 or 17, which lasted for a few years. And that was a bit better, but it was very, very anchored in the late 90s black metal and death metal music. So there wasn't much other stuff going on in the music. There is some online that you can hear. That's my inception.
Your inception.
Hmm.
And the project that you work on solo is called Athak.
Yes, correct.
Did I say it right?
You say it perfectly right.
Thank God.
There was no rehearsal.
No, none at all.
No.
We haven't been talking for a while. I didn't fuck up. It's fine. So how many albums do you have out right now?
At the moment, 11. Albums, I think, should be used
Projects.
loosely because Yeah, and then most of the things I put out, it's 2 songs, but they are like 20 minutes each.
Okay.
So I'm not really sure if it's an EP or an album, or it's for me it's like a giant piece, and I just have to do little by little. So some of the pieces are gonna end up being mushed together as a trilogy, and yeah. But technically, I have 11 releases and so many more to come. It's gonna be amazing.
I think you do a good job of explaining it, where you say this may be a separate release, but it's part 1 or part 2, or it's a trilogy. So you do a good job of talking about how they're related or how your releases are not related. So I think that's pretty cool. But yes, most of your songs, like if you go further back to like 3, and I think is it 3 and 9, I think those have shorter songs on them, like 3 to 7 minutes.
Yeah, I have a couple of normal albums with like a radio-ready songs that should be played on mainstream media, I think. Very normal tune with a regular singing and everything. I have a few shorter songs. I actually started the project wanting to have a band. So the 1 and 2, which were more like demos, number 2, I have a lot of live drumming, and they were all written to be played with a band. That's why there is a huge gap as well between 1 and 2, which are not on the Bandcamp. They're only on the website. And I worked on that for a long time between Hong Kong and China to make it a project. So that would have been a Hong Kong band then. And it just never happened because this is such hell for creativity and music. Nobody enjoys art and music. It is not great for playing, unless you want to play like cover bands on Saturdays and Sundays. So yeah, originally I wanted to do like shorter songs, shorter pieces, and then when I realized that I was just gonna do it by myself, then I just did whatever I felt like. So
the cool things that I noticed about what you were doing, you could literally play everything, but you choose to bring in other people. And so as you go through your albums, the sound kind of changes based off of the people you have playing. You have like, I think it's your number 9 album with Contemplar. Is that the name of the song?
Mm-hmm.
That one has a very cool guitar riff and crazy drums and stuff, but I didn't hear anything else like that in all of your other stuff. So I can tell by you switching out musicians, you kind of changed the tone. And some of your albums seem to be focused more on piano. Like one is like heavily pianoed.
Yeah.
Another one is like the bass part on one of them is like really complicated. So I think it's cool. To me, you have like a sound, but it's not like the same sound.
The instrument focus part is just because pretty much everything is improvised. And so the piano album, the piano album technically is a cover song album, although nothing sounds like the songs I'm covering. But the bass album is like that. It's called, there's one called Bass Homage Chaos. Mm-hmm. And this was basically me playing bass for a very long time and then building on top of it. And every song, everything is built like that. It's like most of the long tunes, the one that are 15, 17 minutes, are going to start with me alone with a keyboard or a piano or a bass and playing. And then I go back from the beginning and I build on top of it. But nothing is written or prepared. So that's why some albums are going to be super bass heavy or super guitar heavy, or same when it's smaller tunes, because it's the same. It always starts with I have something going on in my head, like a drum pattern or a piano pattern or a bass pattern.
All your albums are basically freestyled.
Yeah, everything's improvised. I don't write, and I can't write music, so I can't write or read music.
Me neither.
So I can plan for it much, and I like it better this way because it's more like that's when I'm gonna start to sound weird, but it's more like channeling whatever the music is supposed to have. Like if I hear a bass line, because I don't know music technically, I think I approach making the songs like a painting. Like I'm good visually when I do visual art at knowing where there should be a balance of color or how something should be composed. And so usually that's how I learned to write music basically, which is like making a painting. So if I hear a bass line, there is something that appears to be like that's what the guitar is supposed to do behind, or there should be void here, or so I can't have theory to try to put a song together, but it's kind of more.
You have no sound, Brent. Yes, haha, somebody else fucked up.
So
sorry.
So you write songs like a painter paints. So let me ask you this. So you have different textures and different styles of painting. So do you assign instruments a certain texture, and do you call it that texture that you use for painting?
I know what you mean. I don't really relate to it like that. The instruments, because I'm always using basically the same 4 instruments all the time. I have a Rhodes, a guitar with more or less fuzz or distortion into it, my old viola bass, and then the drum, it's an E-drum, but I'm using like a jazz kit for the sounds, and the piano sometime, and then I have keyboards on top of that. But no, I don't really see like colors or textures. It's more about the it's hard to explain. Like if you can see, like if you're gonna make an artwork, you can see the picture in your head before it's out, and you have to draw the outline first of something, and then everything else kind of comes naturally. So things are not really assigned. It's just I'm gonna play the piano part, and then it's like, yeah, okay, bass needs to come first, next. So I just plug in the bass, and then the bass arrives, and then maybe something else shows up. Like maybe there's going to be voice, maybe there's going to be guitar. So I use the same mindset for painting, but I don't really think about, if you've seen the painting as well, I don't really do traditional painting very much. I compose abstract music, I guess.
I like that. Abstract music.
So this is not music, but you have a lot of technical. I was looking at kind of your resume online. Are you like the CEO of the SD Limited?
No.
Or what
that
are you?
That sounds way too good. No. No, there is a company because taxes. But I'm by myself as well. All the design thing I've been doing by myself for a bunch of years now. I've been doing product design and graphic design. That's basically my main thing since I'm here.
So are you using like AutoCAD or something?
Yeah, I do CAD. I do Photoshop. I do illustrations. I do video editing. I do branding, marketing, that kind of stuff. All the good stuff that make you want to buy a toothbrush.
You know what's funny is you said you're horrible at social media, but your job sounds a lot like what you should be doing with your social media, because you have a brand, you have a certain feel, you know, when you're building out a product and stuff like that. You have a lot of technical skills that I was surprised to find.
Well, it's like for me playing music alone. This is more like a result of all the circumstances that I have to do all these things, because originally I studied art since I was very young. I studied mechanical engineering in high school, and then I studied ceramic design in uni, in design school in Paris before I came here. So I came here for my first job in Hong Kong to do ceramic products design. But I didn't know that you were supposed to do logos and packaging and go to the manufacturer and do plan for the retailer and all these things. So I had to learn all of this on the go. And so after almost 20 years, that's a lot of things that's adding up on top of each other. But yeah, the social media part, I've had to let people do it. Like, tell them, sell the toilet brush, but leave me out of it. I've mainly designed the toilet brush.
Got
Your
it.
parents must be so proud.
And you may actually have in your households a toilet brush that I've designed and that was made in one of those wonderful factories I worked in mainland China. I
That's
might
so
be in your
exciting.
toilet right now.
I'm gonna go check to see if you are after I get
Show
off.
me what
the
you
phone
got.
with
I'll
you.
let you know where it came out of.
Do you have your signature on it or something?
No, sadly, I've been a ghost writer for many companies for many years. You know.
The Toilet Brush King. Bam.
Yeah, I've worked for the Toilet Brush King. He was a Frenchman. That's how he called himself. But he was a cokehead as
Did
well.
he
so-
really? He was a ghost.
Yeah, that's how he introduced himself. He was the king of toilet brushes.
Man, all this conversation sounds like the beginning of a joke. So I worked for this Toilet Brush King, and he
Yeah.
was French. Sounds like a good story, man.
It
Yeah, and
was.
sadly, that's my life. It's not a joke.
So, you've been in Hong Kong for quite a while. Do you find that it has influenced your music a little bit?
Yeah, because it's forced me to play by myself and to figure out how to record and how to play multiple instruments, just out of frustration of trying to meet musicians here. So I've played some drums in a couple of bands. There were a few interesting projects, but the nature of the place is that nobody wants to spend any time to do anything else but earn money, because life is so stupidly expensive here, and you can't really practice at home because the homes are like
Tiny, yeah.
tiny shoeboxes with a million people around you that you hear very clearly. So you can't really become a drummer or, express yourself. And I tried to move that to mainland China for a while. I lived in my wife's hometown for a little bit, and there's a lot more music being played, but China is such a vacuum when it comes to culture and art that it's really hard to get something else into the place, into the musical landscape, or doing something there and then having people outside hearing it.
I live in an apartment. It's not as small, I'm sure, as yours, but I have the same problem. Like, I think I said this on a couple interviews back. If I want to like practice scales with singing, I have to wait for the people around me to go to work.
Yeah.
Because they hear everything, and I hear everything, which is super annoying.
Sounds like living in my home.
Yeah, but yours is a home with a family and children and love, and you're supposed to hear each other. I shouldn't hear the 77-year-old guy upstairs take a shit. Like, that's too much information.
Or should you?
I should not.
Oh.
I don't want to.
Well, at least you know his toilet brush is being used.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey, back to the toilets. Maybe he has one of your brushes.
Right. I'm so proud of myself.
Well, you should be proud of your music because I really enjoyed it. Let's jump into one of those tracks you sent me. If I could read my own writing, we'd all be doing better. Let's talk about Partial. I'm going by the titles you sent me.
Partial must be an extract from a song, possibly. My song titles are impossible to pronounce as well. I can't even pronounce them.
Yeah, I was trying to translate them, and it was a bitch.
There is no translation because most of the vocals are just me starting to play the music and saying whatever words. So there's usually no meaning unless it's French.
Okay.
Then there's going to be some kind of meaning, but it's usually just a couple of words. But almost all of the vocals are just, like instinctual words just popping out. And then I try to write them down with letters, which doesn't work too well.
So your vocal melodies in that 17-minute and 7-second song starts with the Demin. Is that one in the second word starts with almost an eye, some kind of weird looking eye with dots on top of it?
I think it almost looks like diminished, but it's written in very strangely because I'm strange.
Yeah. So that one was kind of creepy.
Thank you.
When it played, but the vocal parts reminded me of the Star Trek theme song.
Oh.
You know, with the soprano.
Which one?
The first
The original.
one. But it was the one with the female vocalist, the mezzo soprano singing the part. You weren't singing that high, but your melody was.
Yeah,
but it was
I'm
interesting.
A soprano. I don't have a very big range vocally.
And the keyboard kind of had that sound too, because it sounded like you made your keyboard sound more like almost a choir, like a little choir, and then you had the higher part, the mezzo soprano part, playing the melody.
Yeah, I'm not surprised if you hear some sci-fi in the music, because there's a lot of sci-fi in my life, so. And like I was telling you before, like the fact that I discovered after I was playing with death metal bands like Ruins and Magma, and realized like this is actually in my head way more violent expression than, you know, Deicide or Brutality or a Cannibal Corpse. And that's where it's not really where the style of music comes from, although you can tell that it's super heavily influenced by those bands from the 70s as well, you know, Magma, Soft Machine. Yeah, the Brutality, I think, and the sci-fi are both inside those old, you know, jazz rock, prog rock.
I can definitely hear that in the first track, which I still don't have a name for. It was the first one that you sent me on the drive, which for some reason will not open on my computer. But I thought that it had, I didn't think sci-fi, but now that you guys said it, I hear it.
Now you can see Klingons dancing.
No, when I heard it, I was like, this sounds like it should be the track on a video game.
Okay.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Yeah, I just thought that song was pretty cool. It was interesting because I think I was totally not, I wasn't expecting it. You know how, have you ever listened to Rob Zombie?
Yeah.
You know how some of his stuff has a creepy feel to it? Or Skinny Puppy, have you ever listened to Skinny Puppy?
No, I don't know that.
Okay, go listen to them. Write that down. Skinny Puppy. I don't see you writing, dude.
No, because I'll remember. That sounds like something I'd like to eat.
Oh my God.
But yeah, it had that creepy feel and like that old. You remember the old horror movies, like the original Frankenstein, Dracula, Werewolf?
Uh-huh.
You know, it had that kind of feel to it too. So it was like you were bottling horror, science fiction nostalgia in that song. You know, there was a lot of jazz influence because of the notes you're playing on guitar. And a lot of times you're playing flat or sharp, going to flat or sharps, you know, rather than just playing straight on top of the key. It's a good song.
Yeah, the funny thing is the second half of this song is like very jolly.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Well,
it changes.
For me, it's like a very happy.
He's like, well, maybe for me.
But it's a very happy song. It
changes.
Up-tempo and like a little bit of a disco drumming. I think I'm very rhythm based when it comes to writing and playing music. Even in the bands I've played with before, I've always been doing rhythm guitar. I'm not very good at. I'm not a shredder. I'm not very good. I'm not very interested in like solos, and I like a good simple rhythm structure.
That brings me to the second track that you sent me. God, I hope you're looking at it. Track number 2, which was labeled as Change. I don't know if it was the change in the part of another song. I'm guessing it was.
It's actually a short song. Yeah.
Oh, good. So I haven't fucked something up. That's awesome.
I was going to ask, is that the Rune 2, the change from 9? Okay, cool. Yeah, that's my favorite song.
I knew you were going to say that. And because of the chime change and because it has a very cool guitar lick in it.
It has a very cool guitar lick.
And he is a guitar guy.
The other thing is in the beginning, the guitar and keyboards are playing the same riff. And then as they get further into the song, you start doing where the guitar will say something and then the keyboard will answer it. So it's really
great,
cool.
Good call and answer. Yes.
Yeah, call and response. Yeah, it's freaking awesome. That was my favorite song. I have a second favorite song too, but that was my favorite song. I listened to it like 3 or 4 times.
I had a revelation about this song a few weeks ago. A friend of mine, when I released it, sent me a WhatsApp and it's like, wow, you must really love Queen of the Stone Age. And I'm like, oh, I really don't like them. I've heard 2 things from them and I really dislike them. And he sent me a link to one of their songs. I have no idea what album it is or whatnot, but it's pretty much the same thing, just in 6 and changes in 7. And it's, yeah, I have never heard the song before, but apparently there is some Queen of the Stone Age somewhere in the music as well.
What was the thought process behind this track? Were you trying to do something really specific with this, or is this just something that came and you laid that guitar down and everything followed?
This is like the usual. I just started improvising, probably with the guitar riff, and then everything else came following. Because usually the reason why a song is gonna last like 5 minutes or 20 minutes is just how far I can stretch a theme that I find or a rhythm pattern that I find. Like some of the, I think, Freemanry, the number 5, is pretty much the exact same theme for 20 minutes with just chords changing and the rhythm pattern changing. And so the runes, I just wanted to do something, I'm Scarset. I wanted to do something Viking with runes. And I didn't want to do, that was consciously not wanting to do another 20-minute track. So I worked on, tracks one by one, but they were all made in the order that they are in the album. So how did this came to be? I can't remember. I just started playing and then I built on top of it. It's very like tribal sounding to me, the Rune album.
So the change, is significantly shorter. What is it, like 7-minute song? But
it's like radio ready.
Yeah.
Yes, it is, and it's good.
The Rune
7 minutes is perfect time for a single and background music on TikTok, I think.
That whole album actually was more guitar than some of your stuff.
Yeah, I think this album is probably because I get an erection from finding a fuzz tone, and I recorded everything based on that.
It didn't get in the way while you were playing your erection?
Not big enough.
I'm done.
It doesn't get in the way of anything, don't worry.
You got to leave that in there. You can't let that go. Leave that shit in there.
I have a
Well, we're going to move on to my favorite song because I can't top this. And I know I'm going to butcher this. I know I am, but I want to try so hard. Like, I feel like I just pull on
Sounds
that.
like my marriage.
It's going to pull
I'm
on
gonna
that
butcher
little
this,
bit
but
of.
I'm going to try so hard.
I'm going to try so hard. I mean. Oh. I took like 2 Italian classes, so let me try.
I had a Valium, so I can pronounce anything. Just give me words, give me syllables, I'll tell them.
Oh my god, dude, you're so funny. You're so funny.
By the way, do you like my mug?
I do.
Little Miss Princess.
Those things.
That's how I call myself in the morning. So, Reynold, you were pronouncing a title of track number 3.
I give up. It's fine.
What is it? What is the title?
Mia Priora? No, I'm not sure about it.
It's Latin, so who knows? Nobody speaks Latin.
Well, it felt like Italian, but I'm from America, so I don't know. Anyway,
Well,
that's my favorite track. It sounds super familiar, and I want you just to tell me how you wrote that. And I know it just came to you.
That's a cover song.
That's what I fucking thought. Okay.
But you have to hear the original song. So the original song is The Prow from Voivod, which is from their first, I think it's their first album, Angel Rat. And it's, Voivod is very weird in their songwriting, but this is one of their very straightforward song. Like there is no dissonant guitar or strange rhythm break. It's very, like a punk ballad. And it's one of the first songs I've heard from them. And so I basically took the first 3 chords from that song and I started playing them on piano. And so Mea Priora, or however it is said 2,000 years ago.
Well, you made it sound better than me.
Yeah, I'm very good in Latin.
No, that song. I would have never have guessed that song was Voivod.
No, it's not actually the entire song. I think it's just the first 3 chords of the song.
It felt familiar, and then the piano line in that reminded me of a classical song that I cannot place for the life of me. The very first few keys is actually like the Moonlight Sonata of Bach. That's what it is. That's what it is.
Dude, you're like ripping off everybody.
Yeah, so if you listen to the song The Prow from Voivods, I forgot what the lyrics are, but it's like, there you are above me. It's about the prow of a boat. And you could actually sing the first part of the song on top of the piano. It would work. The rest wouldn't work, but that's what the 3 chords that I took to write the song. And that whole piano album is actually that. So the first one is Voivod. The second one is a D-side song, as you can tell from the lovely piano playing. It's come from D-side. The third one, I think it's from an old French goth band called Eros Necropsic, which was just basically a poet talking about suicide on top of a terrible keyboard, but it was really amazing, like poetry. And the last one is a cover of Angra, the Brazilian song.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But it's very loose, the term cover for the songs.
How many languages do you speak?
Oh, I was gonna ask him that.
Well,
for sure.
Yeah, I speak French and English. Okay, I do some Spanish, and locally they speak Cantonese, so I understand more than I speak. But I do speak some Cantonese, and I speak some Chinese as well.
Your Facebook says June's gonna be a big month for you. Why don't you tell our listeners why?
It's gonna be enormous. Now have recorded a shitload of things in the past 3 months, and I'm still recording some. And because I'm gonna be packing my studio in a container in July, and I don't know when I'm gonna get it back, what I'm gonna get back from the container, and where I'll be when I get it. I have to release everything before potentially half of my guitar disappear.
Oh, I hope that doesn't happen to you. I hope you get your stuff back.
Yeah, I've done that a few times, so I've had a few broken necks. We'll see what happens this time, but I don't know where we're gonna stay in France, how it's gonna look like, what kind of studio I'm gonna be able to rebuild over there. Everything that I have and I'm still doing until its release is gonna be probably 4 or 5 full-length release, I think.
Who's your digital distributor?
No one.
How do you release your music? You just on Bandcamp?
Yeah, that's why I have 2 followers. I just put them outside. And I don't really worry about it, which is a terrible thing to do. I've started, like, I tried TuneCore recently just to be able to put everything on every platform. But yeah, I put stuff on Bandcamp. I had my website for a while. It changed name. It used to be music.scarset before, but I had a lot of the website turned into a Russian porn website a few times. I got hacked a few times, so I had to close that website and just do Athak. I have the YouTube, which is probably confusing for people because there is everything I do on it. So there's death metal, electronic music, and Athak.
I think they should just have a stiff drink and go to your YouTube and experience it and just go through it.
A very stiff drink, a week of joblessness.
Do you do your artwork for your album covers and single covers and stuff like that?
Yeah. I'm basically on my own for everything, so.
That's so sad.
Yeah.
You're not alone. You have a wife and a 6-year-old.
Yeah, but only my 6-year-old like what I play.
Your wife's like, I'm over it.
She's like, why don't you do something people enjoy listening to?
So, like, I did the cheesy, there's no... So we talked about where our listeners can find you, Bandcamp, YouTube, etc. You're not going to be playing anywhere live, obviously. And is there anything else you want them to know about
I named my
music?
biceps. No.
What's your name? No, fuck it. What's your name? Them?
They just have numbers.
Just 1 and 2?
No, they're both number 1.
Number 1.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I think the best place to go is on the athak.net because then there's links to everything. And but there are things that I put on Bandcamp that are not anywhere else. And Facebook, I'll put releases when they are available over there. And I'm on a couple of prog and avant-garde group on Facebook, so people might find me over there.
You have YouTube
I don't even know if the music is avant-garde. I don't know how to call this thing because we call it Zol in France because we are weird, but
it's ethereal. A lot of it's ethereal jazz kind of thing. That's what I'd call it.
I think it's music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. It's music. What advice? Oh, wait, hold on. Brent, do you have any more questions?
I just want to say I liked Cosmic Perpetual. I like that song. It was from 3.
Yeah.
That's a good song. Cool guitar groove and vocal melody. I thought that was a really good one too. And that one was just behind Change. I listened to them both to like decide which one I liked more. I think Cosmic Perpetual had more guitar, but Change had the cooler guitar riff. Anyway, I just thought you did a great job on this.
Yeah, Cosmic is a fun song to jam on bass because it really hurts the muscles could do the same thing for 5 minutes, but it's a good jam. That's all I have.
That's all I've
got for you.
All right, final question. And I can't wait to hear it from you. I really can't. I'm so excited to ask this question because if you're anywhere,
my glasses like Johnny Depp at the trial.
Tell me, what advice would you give a young songwriter?
Wow. Just write. Whatever comes to your mind, like, and then I feel but that's because I'm an old fart, but social media really fucks up musicians and songwriting. Like, I don't want to be a YouTuber. I don't want to be a TikToker. I don't want to set up fucking pink lights and microphones and LEDs behind my drum and just show people that I can do whatever role or cover a Slipknot song. So I think that kind of hurts young people when it comes to starts to make music and play music. And I think we would rather start writing their song and putting it out there and having two people really enjoy listening to it and sharing their thought about the song, whether they are bad or good thought about the song, and then go from there. So yeah, just do it. And if you're lucky enough, there are going to be other people around you that feel the same and that want to join your project, which is my hope of going back to Europe, which is meeting back all my friends in squats with long dreadlocks that want to play bass and not just earn money with stock auction. So that's my advice to young composer. Don't join a bank.
And don't overthink it. Just write and release.
Yeah, and then, I mean, everybody is stuck in a genre, I guess, but even if, like, a lot of the things I'm recording, like the vocals and everything, is like, I know people are going to think this is extremely weird. Like, what the fuck is he saying? And I just go for it. Just, if I sound like an old caveman, that's what I want to sound like.
Thank you so much, man. This has been
thank you, guys.
a great interview, man.
And thank you, Pan, for making the connection. All right, everybody, thank you so much for listening this week. We really appreciate you. Like I said before, make sure you're following us on social media to make sure that you are finding everything that's going on. The link for the Patreon is below in the description section. We want to thank
below.
It's all the way down. We want to thank Vincent again for being on the show and just sharing his wonderful music and making us laugh. I haven't really given Brent much time to talk because
you haven't.
I'm trying
it's
to
not fair.
Go ahead, Brent. Tell us all about it.
Thank y'all for listening. We appreciate that you listen to us. We'd also appreciate if you friend us, like us, download us, take us any way we can be taken.
I need a good download.
We need your support.
Yes.
This shit doesn't just happen magically. There's a bunch of work that goes on behind the scenes. And so, you just letting us know, hey, you suck, or hey, we love what you did there, helps us. And it helps us get better. It helps us keep going. And we need your support. Download it. I know you're thinking, why do I need to download it? I hearted it. No, you got to go all the way in there. If you don't go all the way in there, it doesn't count. You can't just play around the outside. You have to go in there. That's all.
Dive in like you mean it.
That's right.
Do we have anything else?
We don't.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening again. We love you. Remember to make some noise.